Hello, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Niizhoo News Update. It's Friday, February 7th, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryTV. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The Justice Department announced February 6th that it has chosen 3 American Indian tribes for a pilot project in which they will be authorized for the first time to prosecute non-Indian men for certain crimes of domestic violence against Indian women. The tribes, the Powasquequi of Arizona, the Tulalip of Washington State, and the Umatilla of Oregon, will be the first of the nation's federally recognized 566 tribes to exercise criminal jurisdiction over domestic and dating violence when a non-Indian man is involved. The authority was granted last year in an amendment to the 2013 Violence Against Women Reauthorization Act. Although the new tribal authority for all tribes will not go into effect until March of 2015, the law granted holder the authority to allow some tribes to investigate and prosecute certain crimes against women earlier under this project. Associate Attorney General Tony West called the department's actions a historic turning point for justice on tribal lands. In 1978, the Supreme Court prohibited all Indian tribes from exercising criminal jurisdiction over non-Indian defendants, including in the case of domestic offenses committed by non-Indian abusers against their Indian spouses and dating partners. 4 national Native American organizations have asked the U.S. Department of Justice to launch an investigation into the treatment of American Indian and Alaska Native children in the private adoption and public child welfare systems, saying civil rights violations there are rampant. The groups also called for the federal government to take a stronger role in enforcing compliance of the Indian Child Welfare Act. They said in a letter to Joyce Lynn Samuels, the Justice Department's acting Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, that there is minimal federal oversight over implementation of the law. The letter follows a recent high-profile custody battle over a Cherokee girl known as Baby Veronica, who eventually was adopted by a white South Carolina couple. It also comes amid lawsuits alleging violations of federal law governing foster care and adoptions in some states. Archaeologists who for months have been uncovering mounting evidence of an ancient and extensive Native American village in the middle of downtown Miami have concluded it's likely one of the most significant prehistoric sites in the United States. The archaeologists have so far dug up 8 large circles comprised of uniformly carved holes in the native limestone that they believe to be foundation holes for the Tequista Indian dwellings dating as far back as 2,000 years. The finds, which have not been widely publicized, have placed public officials and a big downtown developer in a major quandary. The Tequista village site covers roughly half of a long vacant 2-acre city block on the north side of the river where the developer, MDM Development Group, plans to build movie theaters, restaurants, and a 34-story hotel. The project would cover most of the block, including the full archaeological site. The City of Miami granted MDM zoning and development approvals for the Met Square project, though not a final building permit, before the full scope of the archaeological finds were known or understood. The site has also yielded thousands of Tequista artifacts, including bone and shell tools, as well as newly uncovered remnants of the industrialist Henry Flagler's 1897 Royal Palm Hotel, which gave rise to the City of Miami. The last person to have spoken the Klallam language from birth and the eldest member among the Klallam tribes of the Pacific Northwest has passed away in Port Angeles at the age of 103. Hazel Sampson was the last person who first learned Klallam, then learned English as a second language. Klallam is the language of 3 U.S. tribes, the Lower Elwha, Jamestown S. Klallam, and Port Gamble S. Klallam, as well as the Beecher Bay Klallam in British Columbia. The 3 tribes in Washington's Olympic Peninsula have a total of about 1,700 members. Sampson was born in the Jamestown's Klallam Band in 1910. Her grandfather was Lord James Balk, for whom Jamestown's community near Sequam was named. She was married to Edward C. Sampson for 75 years until his death in 1995. A private service will be held for family and close friends, but no public memorial has been announced. Niizhoo Sullivan, a 9-year-old Ojibwe Ho-Chunk from the Lucudere Ojibwe Reservation in Wisconsin, has released his first solo round dance CD. Since 2008, Niizhoo has earned a reputation as a talented singer in round dance singing across North America. At just 9 years old, he has already sung with groups such as Pipestone, Midnight Express, and Smoky Town. Plus, he is the lead singer of his own drum, Hay Creek. Kid Rhythm, presented by Bear Tracks, is Niizhoo's first collection of round dance songs, performed by himself and many special guest appearances by his dad, Mike Sullivan, his little brother Preston, and his fellow Hay Creek singers Alex Bellel and Undeg Schlender, as well as his auntie, Giwad's Paiwasit. You can buy the CD online at beartracks.net or at itunes.com. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.